everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Third Shot Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on a podcast platform, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our new episodes. You can also interact with us on our socials at Third Shot Podcast. On X, we're at Third Shot Pod. And today we have a very special guest joining us for our beginning segment. He's been on our show twice before, and he's here to give us an update on his recent pickleball adventures. Welcome back, Alex Simon.
Hey, you guys, how are you?
Good. Thanks so much for joining us again.
Yeah, welcome
Yes,
back, Alex.
thank you. Always my pleasure being here and seeing you guys again.
Well, we need to toast your adventures. We got to get into it, but this has got to be the furthest anybody's ever gone to play pickleball,
Yes.
and we gotta toast to that. So here's to you, Alex, and your travels.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
So, Alex, tell us, last time you were on the show, you had mentioned that there was this chance that you were going to be able
Mhm.
to get to go to Kenya and teach pickleball. And I've been following you on your social media, on your Instagram, and you've been posting from Kenya. This is crazy. So tell us a little bit about the trip.
Yeah, it was amazing. I just got back a few days ago, so I did get to spend. It was a short trip. It was about 4 days in Kenya. It's a long way to get there. It takes like a couple of days to get there between going from here to Europe, Europe to Africa, but well worth it. So while I was there, I got a chance to teach some clinics to some of the top pickleball players in Africa, which came from all over actually, and we'll get a little bit more into that. And then I also got to introduce pickleball to some orphan kids. So we went to an orphanage, and there's many of these orphanages around the Nairobi area, which is the capital of Kenya, where I was, and got to show them what pickleball is, introduce pickleball, leave equipment so they can continue playing the game. And overall, it was just incredible. What an amazing country and what an amazing experience.
It sounds like a wonderful trip. And I know the last
Mhm,
time we had you on, you were saying that you wanted to start doing more of these teaching clinics and kind of going
mhm.
abroad to share the love of the sport and teaching. What was it like to be amongst the children and introduce them to the sport for the first time?
Well, it was great. I when I got there, I didn't really know what to expect, but we went to this orphanage, and like I said, there's so many of them. But this particular one has 109 kids, and they had never seen pickleball before. And these kids are all ages. They have babies to 16, 17-year-olds, and it's basically a school. And they take orphaned and abandoned kids, which
Mm.
is really, really sad. But we got there, brought them some happiness, and they had never played pickleball, seen pickleball, heard of pickleball. And we just set up a couple courts and, you know, put them in lines, told them what the game is about, let them have fun. And it's such a gratifying experience. I mean, bringing pickleball, which is there's so many advantages to the game, right? It's so easy to learn that the kids 6, 7 years old were playing, the teenagers were playing, and you spend a couple hours teaching somebody how to play. In 2 hours, they're playing it. So it was incredible. I plan on going back and expanding the program, which is actually through my fund. Since we last spoke, I actually started a nonprofit, a 501(c)(3), which is called the 002 Fund. And the
All
mission
right.
of the fund is to introduce pickleball to less fortunate children, so inner city kids, both in the U.S. and abroad. So there's a lot more of that going to be happening in the future, hopefully in different countries in Africa, and plan on doing it in the United States, hopefully going to Asia. So yeah, it's turning into quite the project.
That is so cool. I mean, at once it started by just kind of teaching an impromptu clinic in Hong Kong,
You're right.
right? And then you got to travel over to Macau, and now you're going to
Yeah.
Kenya. I mean, pickleball has opened up so many doors for you, and I could tell
Mhm.
just by knowing you and talking to you that it's just kind of filled a spot in your heart, or how you're helping people.
Yeah, it has, and life, works in funny ways. So when I went to Hong Kong, for those that haven't listened to the earlier podcast, it was just a chance trip to go visit my daughter, and I contacted people on Facebook, say, "Hey, I'm coming to Hong Kong. I love to play pickleball," and turns out they had never seen anybody of my level or anywhere close come through Hong Kong. So I ended up teaching clinics, and just unpaid clinics. I just went there and say, "Hey, you guys want to learn from somebody that's had pretty good success?" And it totally changed me. I said, I love doing this, and seeing the joy and the fact that I understand the game and I know the game much better now than I even did when I was in Hong Kong. And I told you guys at the time, God, this is really, like you said, filled a spot in my heart. And I decided, instead of just playing professional and climbing up the rankings, and I wanted to do something more selfless. And teaching has done that for me. And I've done several other clinics here in the United States, both paid and unpaid. But nevertheless, I think it's the direction where I'm going with pickleball. And now it's tough, like playing professional, which you got to practice, and then working on these trips and organizing and cruises. So next year, I'm now in talks with an Italian group that wants me to go there in the next couple months and teach pickleball. And every time I go somewhere to teach, one of the things that I insist on is that there is a philanthropic aspect to it. So I don't want to just go and teach and get paid to teach, but I also want to go and do some good wherever it is that I'm at. So much easier to do in Africa than it is in first world European countries, but there's always a need somewhere that I'm looking to fill. So yeah, pickleball has changed my life, and now I want to use that to change other people's lives. And yeah, I'm just loving it.
That's huge, and congratulations on starting the nonprofit. I think that's
Correct.
probably a lot of work to get up and running, but it's amazing that
Yeah,
you did that.
yeah, it's it you want to do good, but there has to be some organization to it, and it allows me to raise funds to be able to go on these trips. And as a charity, it's a tax deductible contribution that companies make, individuals make. So it makes it more attractive to people that want to participate. It is more organized, it's official. And it also makes me say, okay, now I have a nonprofit, I got to do something with it. So now my life has been extremely busy. I have a so-called day job, which has turned into a part-time day, part-time night when I'm not focused on pickleball. Then I have my training, which is it's like 3-4 hours a day for training. Then I have my clinics that I'm organizing, and my trips and going out of the country, and then I have my nonprofit. So yeah, it's been busy, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just fantastic.
So when you were in Nairobi, how many different
Mhm.
orphanages did you get to go and visit and teach the game to?
Yeah, so it was a very, very short trip. I mean, 4 days total, 5 nights. So I arrived there actually on a Sunday night at 1 a.m. and at 7:30 I was already at the Nairobi Pickleball Club, which are the only courts in all of Africa. Is this gentleman, Joe?
Wow. In all
He's
of
from Swiss.
Africa?
Yeah,
There's only
so
one set of courts in all of Africa.
correct. So he
Wow.
built this Nairobi Pickleball Club, has a four courts, and so I was already teaching there. So he has a group of he brought most of the top players, and you know young players, mostly in their 20s, from around Africa came, and I taught them 3 days worth of clinics. So I was teaching them. They had, again, never seen anybody of my caliber or close to my level come around there. So you have these tournaments they play, to decide the best African player, who actually happens to be one of the pros at the Nairobi Pickleball Club. And they want to see where they fare, because they are unable to come to the United States and compete. So they have duper scores, but their duper scores are all based on their interplay, right? They play
Right.
each other,
Right.
and so they're like, well, now we're going to get a legit 5-5 duper player. How do we compare to him? So yeah, so I taught the clinics, for these 3 days. And by the way, there were some players that came from far away to participate in this. So one guy, he came from Rwanda, So he took a bus for 24 hours just to be there for those
Wow.
3 days and take clinic from me. Uh, Another lady, Brenda, came from Uganda. She was on the, took a 30-hour bus trip from
Wow.
Uganda, neighboring country, with her 2-year-old daughter to take the clinic from me. So that's how,
Wow.
and also eye opening, like the lengths these people, literal lengths these people went through just to be able to take a clinic from somebody coming from the United States and a top level player. So that was just incredible to see. So you go there, you give your all. You want to
Mhm.
give them all the knowledge you have for those 3 days, which I did, and I think I made their games better. I did get challenged to singles matches, exhibition matches with the top players. They wanted to see, and take me down. Make no mistake about it. Young guys, these are 28, 29, 25-year olds who can run like crazy. They're like 6'2", 6'3", trying to show that they got it. Luckily, and I have to say this, I still came out ahead, but not by much. And but wonderful individuals. And then on the last day, we drove an hour and a half outside of the city to one of the orphanages. And this, I got to see one orphanage. We spent the day there, and then at night I actually flew back to the United States that same day. So it was a
Oh,
very short trip. Um, but the idea was to see, what this trip was like. It was almost like a recon trip. Like, how's this going to work? How's it going to work between me teaching the clinics, going to the orphanages? And now that I've been there, and there's so much synergy between me, the people there, that we decided we're going to do it again. Um, we're going to see more orphanages. And again, this is not dependent on me. I was there and I saw one, but the group over there, Joe and his team, they go to more orphanages and spread the pickleball love. So they don't need me to do that. I just happened to be there, and I was lucky enough to be able to participate in one and help out. But yeah, the idea is going back and then going to other countries in Africa. But for that, you need funds, you need money, you need sponsors. And by the way, I did have wonderful sponsors. My own sponsor, Thrive Pickleball, uh, participated and sponsored the trip. I took a bunch of paddles, I took balls, I took clothes. So they donated equipment that I took to the orphanage and left it with them. So shout out to Thrive um, Pickleball. And, now the idea is just grow it, through the fund, the 002 fund, just grow the project and bring pickleball to more and more orphanages.
What an honor for you, though, for these people to travel 30 hours by
Yeah.
bus just to attend. That's, truly a test of what you're putting out there and bringing to their country. I'm curious, though,
Mhm.
for the players who they do consider their top players, how did
Mhm.
they get introduced to the sport of pickleball? Did they share
Yeah,
that with you?
yes, they did, and most of them are former tennis players. They're either former tennis players, badminton players, or ping pong players, which is basically the essence of pickleball.
Right.
right, right.
Is a combination of all three. So most of them are tennis players. Then the second largest were, and I'm talking a group of about 20 that were there every day, and then badminton, and then a couple ping pong players, but tennis mostly. And as you know, it translates, you know, pretty well to pickleball. But I played this one guy, Brian. He's a top player in Africa. He wins all the tournaments, so he was eager to play me. And I said, sure, I'll play you a singles match. And then they on the last clinic day, they say, okay, so at 5 p.m. tonight there'll be a big exhibition match. Alex
Oh.
versus Brian. I'm like, I thought it was like a casual, 2 out of 3. They had a referee. Um,
Whoa.
and all the play stops on all the courts, and everybody comes and visitors. They're like, Brian is gonna take on this top, the world. I'm like, top of the world senior, guys. Let's make this clear. Yeah, so it was this big exhibition, which was a little nerve wracking, and yeah, it was wonderful. I mean, he's a wonderful player, but yes, it's different because over there, like I said, they play each other, and this guy is he probably has a 4.0 rating, but he plays more like a 5.2.3 player.
Wow.
Um, which I was like, oh, he's only a 4.0 player, but when I played him, I mean, these guys are good. they're good, and they want to come to the United States and play. But sometimes you forget how lucky we are. Like the opportunities we have to us, because Brian, he's a good player. Like I said, he's a good player. He could easily be a 5-5 player in no time, maybe even a 6-0 player if he had the resources and the people to practice with, which they don't. They have maybe
Right.
2-3 players who play at a 5-0 level over there. Uh, but he was going to come to the United States, sponsored by the Nairobi Pickleball Club. He went to the U.S. Embassy to get a visa, to come spend some time here, and was immediately denied uh, a visa to come over here. Yeah, like
What was the
he said, they
reason?
just looked at him and said no.
Oh my
Did they give a
goodness.
reason why? That doesn't
No,
seem to make
and they
sense.
they don't have to. They just
They
they,
just say
they
no.
don't have to give. Yeah, they just say no. There's no explanation. So when you go get a visa to come to the United States from other countries, and especially African countries, which are very poor countries, and people want to get visas, and they're afraid they're going to come and never leave, right, and become
Mm,
illegal aliens. So they're very careful. But Brian, he's a co-founder of the Nairobi Pickleball Club. He has a job. He makes a salary. He's not just somebody trying to make his way illegally to the United States, but he says right off the spot, denied him
wow,
a
that's
visa. So
unfortunate.
he's a good player, practices every day, but can't come measure himself and play against U.S. competition to see where he really stacks, because he's beaten everybody in Africa, which is an enormous continent.
Yeah.
So comes back, and the people, like you said, coming to see me, taking 30 hours by bus with a 2-year-old. It's incredible. I mean,
That's a commitment.
that's a
That's
commitment. The moral of the story, Brian and Bridget, I think, is people want pickleball. People want to learn pickleball. People want to get better at pickleball. People want to introduce pickleball to their friends, around their countries. So Brenda is the best player in Uganda. So she took a 30-hour bus ride. Mugisha is the best player in Rwanda. So he's introducing pickleball. So he took 24-hour bus just to learn from me, so he can then bring this knowledge back to Rwanda and grow the game. So the game is growing. People want pickleball. It's just how do we, facilitate that access of pickleball to the world, which is slowly, and as a one person show, I'm trying to do.
well, that's amazing what you're doing, and, I think, the pickleball community is blessed to have people like you and that wanna spread the word and wanna spread the joy of the game to different parts of the world. It's not just an American sport, it's going all over the place. Bridgie and I just got done doing an interview with a podcast in England about pickleball, and they were saying how there's no facilities. Like they
Hmm.
have to drive 2.5 hours, I think that's what they were saying, to get to an indoor facility. And
Hmm.
so it's not just in Africa, it's in England and UK and Europe, right? There's so many places around the world that's just dying to play more pickleball, and that's why I know the sport's in good shape because it's going to continue growing. There's so much expansion opportunity.
Yeah, and when I was in Hong Kong, they do not have a single pickleball court. And asking how many players play, they go, we have about 1,500 players in Hong Kong that play,
Whoa.
not one court. And
Not
it's
one
a
court.
first world country.
Yeah.
The demand is there. Now we need to get with sponsors, paddle companies, equipment companies, podcasts. We need to find ways, to bring pickleball, and not just as a, you know, nonprofit mission, which I think we should do, especially in the poor countries. But there's opportunity. There's opportunity for course, opportunity for facilities. People can make money and do good because the sport is growing so much, and it's our job to help the sport grow. And you guys are certainly doing your part by having people like me on the show, and helping spread the pickleball love far and wide.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing your story and also for the work that you're doing because like Uncle mentioned, now is the time to get it out there and to
Hmm.
spread what we can, knowledge, facilities, equipment, whatever it may be, wherever we can help. That's what we want to do.
Wonderful. And thank you guys again for giving me the platform to share what I'm doing and for all the work that you do and helping pickleball grow.
Absolutely, and we'll have you back once you have some more plans and do other trips. We're definitely want to get that word out there. So this is just number 3 of many visits to Third Shot Podcast. Thanks a lot for joining us, Alex.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And when we come back, we are going to have Jake Chocote of Spiked Hot Muscle Cream joining us to talk a little bit about how he's keeping us on the courts and keeping our muscles relaxed and soothed. So stay tuned and come on back with Jake Chocote. Thanks for hanging out with us during the break. Welcome back to Third Shot. And again, we totally appreciate all the support that you've been giving us on social media and on YouTube. Please continue. We love the feedback. Third Shot Podcast. You can find us on all the social media except for X. There, you're going to have to find us at Third Shot Pod and give us those 5 stars whenever you can because it really helps us get great guests like the one we have coming up. Jake Chocote, the founder of Spike Hot Muscle Cream, is joining us today. How you doing, Jake?
Man, I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Before we get started, we're going to do a little toast to Spiked Hot Muscle Cream.
That's right. Keeping my muscles feeling good. Thank you.
Yeah, keeping
Cheers
us on
to
the
that.
courts.
hmm
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, Jake, we have had the pleasure of speaking with paddle companies, apparel companies, but you are our first hot cream company. How did you get into this industry?
Great question. It's something that I've really got a passion for because of my personal experience with pain, with soreness. I was in a pretty severe car accident in 2017, and I ended up breaking my femur, my fibula, tearing my ACL for the 4th time, and also breaking my left hand or my left wrist. And I just had this moment of clarity, like even in the middle of the car accident, where it's like surreal, like a bomb goes off and it's everything's in slow motion. But I just remember thinking right whenever it happened, I was like, this is such a great thing. And I was in the back seat. I was a passenger in the vehicle, and yeah, I don't know why, but I just had this overwhelming peace about what was about to happen, and I just knew that it was going to be a great thing, even though I was broken and banged up and all that. So coming out of my recovery, I knew that I needed to do something, and I was not interested in getting on painkillers. I've lost people because of those, and I didn't want to be on opioids. So I decided to kind of forge my own route of recovery and kind of eliminating pain. So I decided to do what I knew, and that was I had a CBD company at the time, and so together with a pharmacist, we formulated this product, this hot muscle cream that we have now, and I was just at first using it myself. The day that we finished the formulation, or the original formulation, was the day that I got my cast off of my left arm. So I put it on there, and I was super timid to get my cast off. Like, my arm still feels weak, and I was like, man, this is amazing. Like, I can move it without being hesitant. It feels really solid. So I just kept using it, and I had knee surgery, and in my recovery, I kept using it and was just blown away. So for a long time, I just use it for myself. And every once in a while, my wife, she works in surgery, so she would take it and use it at her job. She's hunched over, working on the patient, sewing and cutting and all that good stuff. So she used to use Aspercream and some of those things, but she was like, man, I can only use this twice a day because of all the stuff that's in it. And same with
Mm.
BioBreeze and some of these other kind of competitors that are out there. But with with this product, she was like, I only have to use it like once in the morning, and then maybe later on. Whereas with the other ones, she was needing to put it on every single hour. So, you know, she has the opportunity to use this more than as much as she wants, because there's no chemicals or carcinogens or anything like that in the product. It's all natural. It's like 91% organic, so you can put it on as much as you want. But she found that she didn't even need to use it as much as she was having to use the other ones. So it kind of grew from me using it personally to my friends and family, and then I was like, you know what, the world, other people need this. They
Yeah.
got to have this. If it can do for them what it's done for me and my friends and the people that I know, love, and care about, then it can work for other people. So it's just kind of slowly taken its its own life. And I have people all the time that come up to me, or I get phone calls and say, "Hey, you're not going to believe what this has done for me." I had a lady the other day. She was like, I had literally been to the doctor for my tennis elbow, and they told me, I've given you the strongest doses of everything that I can give you for this, and there's nothing else I can do. And she said that she was putting it all on, and she was having no relief. And uh, after the first day of using Spike Top Muscle Cream, she was 100% pain free. She no longer needed the other medications, and that was after the first application. So it's stories like that that just blow me away constantly, and that's why I love pickleball. I'm super active,
Yeah.
and I know that people who are active like me want to stay active, and getting older kind of sucks. And you gotta
Tell me about it, Jake. Tell me about it. You went into so many different things that I want to touch on. The first one I really want to understand is, okay, so you had a CBD company prior.
Yeah, I did.
And like first I want to understand, how does CBD work as far as helping with pain, and what kind of products did you have before that kind of lent itself to you testing out and creating Spike?
Yeah. So CBD works in one of two ways. There's your body has this natural system called the endocannabinoid system. That means your internal cannabinoid system. Cannabinoids are the molecules that hemp has in it, or cannabis. It's the same thing. So you have receptor sites that the system operates on, and whenever these cannabinoids, CBD or the other ones, attach to those receptors, then it actually signals to the cells in your body. Depending on what the cannabinoid is and how it binds to that receptor, it's going to send out a different signal. So CBD specifically, it attaches to, whenever you put it on your skin topically. Um, if it's able to get down to the CB receptors, because they're buried deep in your dermis, um, if it binds to there, then it modulates your pain receptors. So it actually tells your cells to lower the inflammation. It tells your cells to stop the pain senses. So it doesn't numb it at all, but it just kind of helps it go away, where you can operate naturally. Now, there's other ways to ingest it, and there's other receptors, the CB2 receptor sites, but that goes through kind of your first pass metabolism in other ways. So there are other ways to ingest CBD, and that those can be a good thing. But topically, I really like it because it doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier, and there's no risk of any kind of drug test failure or anything like that.
I got a follow-up question. That Sorry, Bridgie. I know you have a question as well, but my follow-up question is, I think because it's a cream and topically, you can apply it directly to the area of the body that's being affected. Whereas if you ingest it, how does the CBD, how does the chemicals know to get to the areas to kind of, affect the areas that are in pain?
Yeah, that's a really great point. With this, you put it where it hurts, and you don't have to worry about it. With an ingestible type of method, then you're going to need your body to titrate, which means kind of like catch up, get your cells to absorb enough so that then they can expend the CBD power as they need to, and that can take up to 30 days. So
Wow.
with this, there's no need to wait. The active feeling that you'll get is almost instant. I have people all the time tell me that it's like they're like, no way did that just work that fast. But like the second that it puts on, not for everybody, but for a lot of people. But yeah, it'll heat up, it'll warm up, it'll open up your pores, and get that CBD right where you need it on your receptor sites.
So I was super excited to test out this product too because I had used a CBD essential oil because I get really bad sinus congestion, and you're supposed to like roll it onto your face here. And it was amazing for me. And I would tell people that, you know, how great of a product it was. And so to find out that there's actually now a pain cream that uses CBD in it, I was all for it. You had mentioned before Aspercream and BioFreeze, and I had used like Icy Hot and Tiger's Balm in the past. How does spiked hot cream differ from those traditional types of muscle creams?
Really, in two main ways, I would say, probably several other ways too. But the main ways that they differ is spike top muscle cream is all natural. There's nothing in it that you can use too much of. There's nothing in it that's going to damage your liver or your other internal organs, your skin, if you use it too much, because it's almost all based on essential oils. The only thing not natural in it is glycerin, or I'm sorry, not organic, is glycerin. That's like your lotion base. It's what's in
Mm.
every hand lotion on the market. That's what gives it that creamy texture, helps kind of moisturize and all that stuff. But so you can apply this as many times as you need throughout the day. I know that whenever I'm playing 4 or 5 hours of pickleball, like I put it on before, I put it on after, and then like I don't know, in the middle of the night as much as I want. But with those other over the counter or off the shelf kind of products, the BioFreeze, Icy Hots, they have warnings and disclosures on them that you can use too much of that because they've got some carcinogens, they've got some chemicals. So that's number one. And then number two is this is a transdermal formulation. So BioFreeze and those types of products, like they have a very surface level benefit where it feels nice and warm or nice and cool on the surface, but it doesn't really penetrate those deep tissue aches, and they don't have like true. I guess Aspercream has a pain reliever in it, same like a Tylenol sort of thing. Um, but the other ones, they're just real topical, surface level. Our formulation is transdermal, which means that it opens up your pores and it helps your body absorb all the beneficial natural products that are in there. And the main reason that we wanted it to be transdermal, because there's tons of CBD products on the market, just like your pore stuff, your face stuff, you can absorb most CBD products very slowly, but it's not very efficient. But with a transdermal blend, that means it's actively opening the pores and it's actively helping your or that product get into all 12 layers of your skin. So it opens up those pores and it gets that CBD molecule. Think of it kind of like a chain link fence. If the ball is too thick or too big, then it's not going to go through the chain links. So this actually expands those chain links, lets that ball go through, and then that goes all the way down to those receptor sites. So you can actually get the CBD to bind to the CB receptors, where that's where the magic happens and the pain modulation actually starts.
Listening to you explain that, Jake, there's so much science that goes into your product. And, I don't know what your background is. Obviously, you had a CBD company prior, but like how much research went into creating what's on the market right now with Spiked that allowed you to understand, the how this works and why it's so effective? Like who did you partner with? How did that whole process go?
Yeah, so I couldn't tell you the hours of research with natural products. I so growing up, my mother was in the pharmaceutical world. So I was always very familiar with the way some of those products worked. Very interested in those, but through CBD and trying to find my own natural remedies for pretty much everything in life, I researched a ton on CBD to understand how it worked, because the medical marijuana aspect and all that stuff, that's not really for me. That's not really what I'm about. So I wanted to understand how can I access the benefits of what I'm hearing about CBD without some of the negatives that I want to stay away from. So I got certified in the endocannabinoid system. I met with some of the top researchers, the top doctors in the country on this particular topic. It's not a super widespread, or at least back then, it wasn't a super readily available widespread. So I had to do a ton of research on my own and find people, partner with people. So just understanding the ECS, the endocannabinoid system in general, understanding how it works and how we can best leverage what we know about it to get us the most optimal result. So then I took that knowledge and I partnered with compounding pharmacists, and that's how we were able to create this natural product that really makes a difference. It works better than anything I've ever tried, and that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I think that people really have to have this stuff on their shelves. Like you got to try it. If you're suffering, like just give it a shot. You don't have anything to lose.
Exactly. Yes. I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about marketing, because we have seen spiked on our social media with a number of different players, and on some of our friends' social media as well. But all of them are pickleball players. Are you targeting the pickleball market because of your interest in the sport, or are there other marketing strategies in play there?
Yeah, so I'm a huge advocate of pickleball. I play 2 or 3 times a week. I follow all the big tournaments and tours. I just am a huge fan. It's a lot of fun. I love getting to know the people. I think that's one of the best things. Here's my bold prediction. I know you didn't ask for it, but my bold prediction is that I think that pickleball can have such an impact on the country that it can be one of the unifying factors. Whenever I go and play pickleball, um, I hang out with 80-year-olds. I hang out with 20-year-olds. It doesn't matter if you got blue hair or if you're black, white, whatever. Everybody's just there to have fun. They're so welcoming, and you get uh, to another level in your relationship with people that you wouldn't normally have. And to me, that's really important. So, one of my goals with this whole thing is to keep people out there on the court as much as possible. I want people to stay plugged in to their communities. I want people to be active and getting their lifestyle better and healthier. And, it's my thought that if you can stay where you feel like moving a lot in that place, then you're going to be out there and be hanging out with people, be socializing, be active, be moving, getting healthier. And I think that there's going to be a lot of benefits that trickle down from that, that I would like to see in our country.
Well, thank you for doing that, because you have helped me in my pickleball life. So I deal with carpal tunnel syndrome. And, when we first started talking, and this was, a couple months ago, I believe, you were generous enough to send me a bottle, and I tried it out on my carpal tunnel. And just so you know, my carpal tunnel kind of affects me when I'm playing pickleball, because it kind of affects my elbow as well, right? I wouldn't say I'd have pickleball elbow, but I don't know. It hurts my elbow when I'm playing. I think it's a result from the carpet tunnel. It just kind of runs up the arm. You sent me the cream, and again, I put it on my wrist, I put it on my elbow, and I can play without it bothering me on the court.
That's
And that is something I couldn't say before you sent me the cream. Now, full disclosure, I am coupling it with the brace that we have, that I use, that we got from ProBand, that also gives me support with the elbow. And between the two things, but in fact, I got your cream before I got the brace. So anyway, I did the cream alone, then I did the cream with the brace, and now I can play for hours with Bridgie, and I just enjoy the game without having to worry about, oh, is it gonna hurt? Is it gonna hurt? Oh, how's it gonna
Right.
feel? How's it gonna feel later? So thank you. It really made a difference for me.
Man,
Yeah, and I'll add on to that too. It definitely takes the edge off because do also have, I would probably call it pickleball elbow, um, where the pain is so intense and so sharp that it makes you not be able to even like hold the racket. And I know Uncle had a similar instance too, with just picking up a coffee mug.
Yeah.
And this cream definitely takes that edge off. So it allows you to keep playing and doing the things that you love to do. And on top of it, the smell of it is not as intense as, like, the icy hot that I was used to using, and so what I enjoy that it doesn't, like, make my nostrils burn when I put it on.
that's probably something we need to touch on more. I do not want to smell like an old person, so I stay away from those things that have that. You guys know what the scent that I'm
Yeah,
talking
Oh
about.
yeah.
yes. It's so
No, this
pungent.
this one's awesome. I like it's like a cinnamony, peppermint, kind of of a menthol smell, but yeah, it's like it's so refreshing and it's like energizing in a way to me.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And
Hey,
then Bridgie mentioned before that she used like Tiger Balm, and I used the red Tiger Balm before, but it stains your clothes,
mhm.
and yours doesn't stain. So another big plus to using the cream.
Yeah, I mean, when we're out there helping people and letting people try the product, like of course we get it on our hands, on our clothes, and stuff like that, and just wipe it straight on my jeans, my pants, my shirt, whatever. Never gonna stain anything like that. Greg, I wanted to touch on something that you brought up earlier that you actually use something like on top of using the cream. Uh,
Yes.
we've got our heat locking compression sleeves. The reason that we have those is because when you put the product on and you let it absorb into your body, then you cover it up. It amplifies that heat effect, and then compressing and using a brace, using a compression sleeve, compressing will help kind of add other synergistic benefits like increasing your blood flow, which is going to increase absorption. It's going to naturally reduce inflammation because of that compression. It's going to prevent injury. So yeah, that's the whole reason that we have those compression sleeves, is because together those two really work synergistically to amplify all the effects and to really give you the best experience. So I'm glad to hear that you're using something on top of it and getting even better result.
Well, it's such a great product, and I'm sure that our listeners, after hearing all of the awesome science behind it and our testimony to how great it is, they're going to want to order some themselves. So, where can they find or where can they order Spiked Hot Cream?
Go to spiked-sports.com and you'll find it right there on the webpage.
Perfect. We'll put a link in our website for it.
And the last thing I want to say about it is, you said how confident you are. You said, "Hey, why not try it? Give it a shot." You put your money where your mouth is because you're offering a full 100% guarantee also, right?
Right. If you don't like it for any reason, just send it back, or just let us know. I don't want to take your money and to have something not work for you. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because I want you guys active and back out there. So if you try it and you don't like it, then that's completely okay. No hard feelings. We tried. At least you tried something. So I just want to see you guys back out there and playing as much as you can.
Well, thank you so much for doing that. And it is a great product. Bridgie and I can attest to how it's helped us keep us on the courts. And to be honest with you, I use it for my carpet tunnel when I'm not even on the court, when I'm just working. So, I don't think you have to be a pickleball player to get the benefits of Spiked. So, thank you very much for joining us. And thanks for creating such a great product.
Man, thank you guys so much for having me. This has been a blast. I hope to do it again soon.
Yeah, yeah. The next iteration, please let us know when you're ready to go double spiked. right? I don't know.
Super spiked.
Triple spiked. I don't know. Whatever the next level is, it's already great. But yeah, let us know. We'd love to have you back.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Thank
And
you.
for all our, yeah, and for all our listeners, thank you for joining us. Bridgie and I will continue to have and share our pickleball journey like we're doing with Spike Hot Pain Cream. Check them out on Instagram as well. Spike Hot Pain Cream is the handle on Instagram. Jake had mentioned the website, which is spiked-sports.com. There you can purchase the product and see the 100% money back guarantee. So you're in good hands when you try Spiked. Please support this show by subscribing, and we promise to have more amazing guests just like Jake in future episodes. So let's continue to share our enjoyment for the game and grow this pickleball community. See you next time on Third Shot Podcast.